All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment of the show today, which is going to be about general news stories around the league. Just some minor stories I want to talk about. Some stuff I thought was interesting and notable to mention around the league. So let's get into it. The first one we have here is the Pirates. We don't really talk about the Pirates much, so it's nice to get them on the board here. According to some reports, they are showing some interest in Tommy Pham, the free agent outfielder. We knew about Pham having interest from some other teams like the Padres and the Diamondbacks, of course, who he was with last year. But we haven't really heard the Pirates. So this is something interesting to see. I think this makes some sense though if you're the Pirates. You have some good outfielder depth. You have guys like Jack Sawinski, Connor Joe, Joshua Palacios, Ryan Reynolds, of course, who's going to be in center field, Andrew McCutchen, but he's probably more of a DH type role. And I think if you're the Pirates trying to compete, I think signing a guy who's like a win now player like Tommy Pham makes a lot of sense. I think is a good fit as well. Obviously, Pham was really good with the Mets and the Diamondbacks last year. Kind of had a bounce back season after a few years, kind of not doing the best, and his reputation being a little bit tarnished because of some out the field incidents. I mean, I think we know which one I'm talking about. Might involve a certain left-handed outfielder on the Giants in fantasy football, if you know what I mean. But definitely would be a good fit in my opinion with the Pirates and Pham. I think he'd bring a lot of edge to that young team, bring a lot of leadership in the clubhouse as well. A guy who knows how to win. I mean, he made the World Series last year, so I definitely think he knows what he's talking about. And after that, I think it'll be a good baseball fit. I think it'll bring some more legitimacy to that lineup, some more depth to that outfield, which I think you could desperately need. I don't think Pirates need Tommy Pham, but I definitely think it's a good fit, and I definitely think it makes sense they are showing interest in him. And I think it would be a good fit if it were to happen. Danny Jansen is going to miss a couple of weeks with a fracture in his wrist. Some reports came out about that. Obviously, Jansen is the top backup for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have had a lot of great catching talent over the past few years. That's what prompted them to trade Gabriel Moreno to the Diamondbacks, who obviously became a postseason hero with them, hitting 3 home runs against Lance Lynn in one at-bat, and obviously being one of the big reasons they went to the World Series and is going to be a big part of their future. You have Alejandro Kirk being the main starter, but Jansen also splits a lot of time with him. I mean, you always have to have 2 pretty good catchers in baseball because catchers have so much stress on their knees and, are kind of always tired and need a lot of days off. I don't think if you're a catcher, you can play more than 3 days straight. So it makes sense to always have 2 good catchers, and Danny Jansen has always been very valuable in that role for the Blue Jays. I think he definitely could be a starting catcher for a team, and the fact the Blue Jays have him as their backup is really good. But obviously he's going to be out for a few weeks. We're not sure when he'll be back in regards to his schedule because this is spring training. We're not sure, what's going to happen with his timeline going into the regular season. But even so, they have some depth behind him. Former Rockies catcher Brian Serven is there. As a fine backup, so it's not a huge deal, again, because you have that depth at catcher if you are the Blue Jays. So, not a huge deal here, but still something notable I want to talk about because Jansen's a good player, and he got hurt for a little bit, and it's definitely not a positive for the Blue Jays, but not the end of the world, I'd say, either, anyways. The Reds, they signed Justin Wilson to a minor league contract. Justin Wilson was a guy we talked about a few times now. Obviously opted out of his contract with the Dodgers. Was a minor league contract. He's a fine lefty reliever, a fine veteran guy. Has had some good seasons in the past with the Mets. Was okay with the Yankees, from other teams as well in his past. Definitely a nice, valuable depth piece by the Reds here. They've added some nice pieces to their bullpen this offseason. Specifically a guy, I think Brent Suter was a really nice pickup for them. And again, I've said it a few times, but you can never have enough left-handed depth for your relievers. Loogies, which is left-handed only guys out of the bullpen, are kind of extinct nowadays. But I think bringing in other kind of lefty relievers for depth is always a good decision. And I think for a young team like this, bringing in Justin Wilson's a good idea for the Reds, and is a good depth move overall. The Cardinals are extending manager Oliver Marmol to the 2026 season. His contract was set to expire this year, and they obviously like what he was doing there, so they extended him. This one's a little perplexing to me, but I don't think it's too crazy. I don't think he's a bad manager, but I don't think he's too extraordinary anyways. To be fair, they haven't really given him a full chance. I mean, both the years he's been there, the pitching was pretty bad. I mean, the first year they made the playoffs, yes, but they got embarrassed. So it's not like he's dealt the greatest hand. And last year their pitching was awful as well. This year their pitching's pretty bad as well. So again, not really his fault, but still, I don't know if he was that outstanding as a manager. But again, it's not a huge deal. Their manager before him as well, Mike Schote, wasn't that great as well, but he's the new manager of the Padres now, and Marmol's replacing him. He's kind of done some questionable things for the team as well, with moving Wilson Contreras off catcher a few months after signing. I'm not entirely sure if that was his full decision or the Cardinals' FO wanted to do it, but still didn't go well in the clubhouse. But I don't think Marmol's a horrible manager. And I guess they want to see more of him. I guess they were saying, okay, 2 years isn't really enough, so we want to see what you can do long term. And obviously, they're not using him as a scapegoat for last season's disappointment, which is good, because definitely wasn't his fault. I think it was a full organizational thing. So yeah, not a horrible move by the Cardinals, but I think it's a lot of better managers than Ollie Marmol out there. But he's not that bad. So it's a fine move by the Cardinals, in my opinion. The Rays are signing Jake Odorizzi to a minor league contract. Odorizzi, of course, was a free agent starting pitcher on the market. Started his career off with the Rays, was fine there, got a few contracts from other teams, but is returning there. I think it makes a lot of sense for them. I think it's a good way to get more pitching depth. I mean, he's a fine veteran pitcher, a guy who knows what he's doing out there. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Isn't that great anymore, but again, I think it's just a valuable piece of depth for the Rays right now. As a veteran guy, we have a lot of young guys you're counting on, like Taj Bradley, like Ryan Pepio, and I think this is a good veteran signing here. Also, I mean, with the injuries you've had, again, you're going to be relying on a lot of young guys. So I think signing a veteran guy like Odorizzi you can rely on is a good decision. And definitely a fan of the signing for the Rays. It's not a huge deal, but I thought it was notable, and I did like it. Just announced, actually, as I was on stream here, so I want to talk about it, is that Nestor Cortez will be the Yankees' opening day starter. We knew that Garrett Cole was out of the mix because obviously he's injured. We knew that they offered the role to Marcus Stroman. He said no because he didn't want to mess up his pitching schedule. I made a short about that, so if you want to check that out, go on the channel and go to shorts, and I'm sure you'll find it there. Not a crazy idea for the Yankees to start Cortez. I'm surprised they didn't consider Rodon, but I kind of guess that's how much his stock has fallen since last year, and they don't want to risk taking him out of his rhythm. But I think Nestor's a fine pick. You don't really have anyone else here, so good job by the Yankees getting Cortez to be their guy, and a good move. He's not a bad player, so definitely could add worse options. Aaron Judge, there's been some rumors. There's a lot of news around him, so that's what I want to talk about here. So he wasn't on the batting cage list today, and that it was announced by Boone that if he wasn't, he would be playing today, and obviously he isn't. So news came out that he probably will not play tomorrow, and he still has a chance for opening day, but he's dealing with some general soreness in his body, I'd say right now, which isn't that crazy at spring training. General soreness makes some sense. So it's not a huge deal for the Yankees, but it's just not something you want right now, especially with the Cole injury. It's kind of just a lot of injury news after injury news. So I definitely want Aaron Judge to be okay, of course. So definitely not great news for the Yankees, but it could have been worse. And he seems to be fine right now. And I think if it was a really bad thing and bad news, I think there would be a lot more about it. So yeah, definitely something to watch and talk about if you're a Yankees fan, and see what goes on with Judge in the future. After that, we have the Astros. They have been rumored in some rumors, ironically, about Blake Snell, which is interesting. Chandler Rome, who's one of the best Astros writers there is, talked about how he thinks Blake Snell could be a fit for the Astros. And Ken Rosenthal kind of seconded that. It's not really like sourced information that they're going hard after Blake Snell, but I think it could be a possibility, Blake Snell and the Astros, on a short-term deal especially. We've seen them already this year sign a free agent out of nowhere in Josh Hader, so they could do it twice. They've had a lot of pitching injuries, and I think getting Snell would help that a lot on a short-term deal as well. I think that would be great. Snell could sacrifice some money to show that last year wasn't a fluke and finally get his big contract next year. Astros get more pitching depth, and Snell gets to try to compete for a ring as well. So I think it could be a match made in heaven, honestly. And I think if Snell wants to sign quick, I think he might have to take some short-term offers, and I think the Astros are definitely a team that make a lot of sense here. And I would definitely be interested in seeing what happens there if they do end up signing Blake Snell. I think it's a pretty great baseball fit, and I would be really, really interested to see if that happens. And I think that would be something really exciting to talk about. So, yeah, that's the end of the show here today, guys. That was my final segment 4. I want to thank you so much for watching. Follow us wherever you can get content on us. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram for more content and updates. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, donate as well, do anything you can to support us. It would really mean a lot. So thank you so much for that, guys. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on Monday, and we'll see what happens then. We'll see what there's to talk about. So thanks, and see you later. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to